welcome to launch a different way of learning. Today's session is being recorded and may be posted on our YouTube channel at a later date. So FYI. All right. Welcome back from myself, Nancy Rodriguez, and my colleague, Dr. Stephen Aragon. This is our third training in the series, so I don't feel the need to tell all about myself this time, but I'm very happy to be here. Stephen, would you like to share anything?
Nope. I'll sound like a broken record, but all I'll say is that I work with Nancy in the Professional Development Division. I'm the Equity and Diversity Specialist, and as we've shared in all of the previous trainings, please let us know how we can help you all as we launch this new school year and things are still up in the air. We want to make sure that we provide service to you so that starts off smoothly. So welcome. Oh, and just so you all know, I am not teaching this workshop today. I'm as much a participant as you are. Technology scares me. So I am glad to be participating and learning from Nancy myself. So I'll answer questions if she needs me to or help, but I'm going to be just learning myself as well, so that I can do my own videos as well in the future. So.
And Stephen, just so you know, I think we all appreciate any expert advice in terms of the distance learning, share that please, because that's important as well. So yes, and I'm so glad he's here to just provide that support with me. All right, our objective for today is to create short video clips using smartphones and other available technologies. Now, if we were asynchronous, I might do this. Hi everyone, our objective for today is to create and use short video clips with technologies that are readily available. All right, so that's just a sample of a little bit of what we might be doing today. But notice that objective, it's not just me creating, it's you all as well. So I hope that you're looking forward to that, because I know that I am. But I like to do a quick icebreaker just to get us started. In the chat, use 1 to 3 words to describe how you are feeling today, feeling about the weather today. So tell us how you're feeling about the weather. Just because we need to get started. There we go. Good for the garden. Nice. Yes, the rain is awesome. Don't want to water the yard. Cooler temperatures. I'm with you guys. Oh, good weather for sleeping, fishing, for coffee. That's what I like, sitting watching the rain, drinking my coffee. All right, nice. All right, thank you guys for doing that. All right, so just a reminder of, where we've been. We talked about all of these types of interactions, and that's led us to watch the Screencastify recording or live from the Oklahoma State Department of Education. And then now thinking about videos and creating videos to support some of this instruction, whether it be some of the interactions or for the shop and lab activities that students won't be able to necessarily do face-to-face or in person, I should say. One other thought that I had, well, I lost it. It's gone, but it'll come back to me. So just a reminder, last week's session is posted on YouTube, so you can find it there. I do want to throw out a disclaimer about, all of the technologies that we are using. They really are things that many people find valuable. And so we just want you to check with your IT director before implementing, especially a YouTube channel and things of that nature. And if you have students taking videos and so you need to talk with your district and campus directors about that. And I remembered what I was going to say. I was going to say, if you didn't get a chance to watch the Flipgrid training, that's another option for technology and video specifically. So anyway, all right, but today it's not about Flipgrid. Before we get started, I have a poll for you. So it's got 3 questions on it. So you can take a minute to answer the poll. Which of the following technologies have you used to create videos? Which have you used to edit videos? And then the last question is, have you ever uploaded and created playlists in YouTube? Great, so I see some responses. Okay. Nice. All right, looks like everybody has voted because I'm not voting. All right, so let me share the results with you all. Everybody has used the cell phone, obviously, and looks like people have used both the PC and a Mac. We have a few more PC users. And the other, if someone wants to share in the chat or unmute and share what that other is, let us know. Second question, editing, nice. Okay, built-in Windows editor, very good. QuickTime, even Screencastify. Okay, but nobody's used the YouTube Studio. So anyone want to add some of these others, please do. If not, that's okay, we understand. Have you ever uploaded and created playlists in YouTube? Okay. One person has, the rest haven't. All right, that gives me a great starting point. So thank you all for doing that. Okay, so this is kind of the outline of how we're going to do today. Talk briefly about the why, research, usage of videos. This is all focused on videos, how to create, and organizing and posting online. So starting with the why, the truth is videos can be used to meet the need for online instruction, which is really what we've been talking about. And thank you for that shake of your head, Stephen. For inspiring students. So really creating videos is more than just supporting that lab or shop piece that we've been talking about. Videos can also be used to engage parents, and they can save you time. How do you all think they could save you time? How can creating videos save you time?
Not having to reteach.
Nice. That's right. Thank you, Nathan. Absolutely. And students can always rewind and pause. Yes, there are so many things that they can do with that. And not, getting new students in, part way in. There's so many ways that it really does save you time. Now, we all know that some things you do have to spend time up front. And initially, this probably will be one of them. But especially over the coming months, having some videos to support your instruction, I think can really make a difference in the long run, in the end.
Nancy, okay. If I can just say too, one of the benefits I found from doing the recordings, and yes, I might have to re-record certain sections over, and what I thought was going to take forever didn't take me very long. What I thought wouldn't take me very long, I had to do over and over and over because I kept goofing it up. But once it was done, in addition to having it permanently archived, students who miss class, for example, you don't have the same issues of absenteeism of students missing that work any longer because it's all archived. So, once you do it once and you do it well and it's up there, it's always going to be a living file, if you will, or for lack of a better term. I don't know if that's the right term, but you know, students can go back over and over and over again to get the information before they start coming to you. So I just found that it was really, you know, even though I was oftentimes against it initially when we were converting to online instruction, or I'd have, you know, a presentation that I wasn't all that excited about putting out there in that way, there are some major benefits of it.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. All right, for the next piece, I'm going to actually put on my slideshow, so you should be able to see this next slide. So this is really a little bit about what research says. And so research says, and this is all documented on the internet, that videos ideally should be less than 6 minutes. Now, research also says, so there's, you know, there's various limits, but that's the very first one for instruction. There were others, you know, that 10 to 12 minutes, and even others that were like 19 to 20 minutes. So, you know, but I think for our students and what we are instructing, less than 6 minutes. But remember, the content drives that. But you can always consider, as we've discussed in the last 2 trainings, chunking it. The content in the videos is really not any different than that. Research says an occasional talking head, like you did with Screencastify, is effective. It helps bring that personalization. And I know we've talked about that before. That's part of the reason that we suggested the Screencastify or other screencasting programs. Tablets or drawings, annotations, actually do support that instruction. And we're going to see more about that in a minute. But considering having text with the video, okay? Research also says that the video quality does not directly impact student engagement. And for me, that was surprising, but I did see that over and over. So again, content is what's important. I will say, however, that sometimes, you know, I mean, you don't want it to be so bad, and sound matters. And so, you know, just something to think about, okay? In terms of, let me change my screen here. In terms of, you know, what it should look like, the research also suggests a balance between auditory and visual or text cues. And let me say a little bit about why, because this goes back to the cognitive load piece, okay? So apparently, and Stephen, you can support me with this if you want, you know, our brains have 2 channels with our working memory, a visual and an auditory piece. And if we have too much of one or the other, it's kind of like it overloads, overwhelms. And so providing some of these cues to help the brain process it is important. So a little bit of both. And here's what I wanted to say. When watching a video, students first process information with their sensory memory to determine what's relevant and what's important enough to send it to their working memory, okay? And that's then in that working memories when we have a couple of channels that the brain has to interpret. Questions or thoughts about that piece, anyone? Okay, so just considering the balance. Again, a balance between new and existing knowledge. We've talked about that need to include background knowledge. It just helps the processing piece, helps your brain make some of those connections, if you will. And lastly, you know, we want to be engaged, hence the 6 minutes. And we want to hear the passion and the excitement. And again, we've talked about that, but including it not just in your classroom, but also in any videos that may be, that you might be developing. So, ideas for using it. Questions, Stephen?
Yeah, if you can go back to the previous slide easily. So just one thing I wanted to add to that, because this research is accurate and it's been around for a long time. So we know that it's, it's been well tested. But the other thing we do know is there are times when we have presentations that are going to take longer than 6 minutes. And I, over the years of me teaching online, I would have those because I was teaching each week online the equivalent of having students for 3 hours in class. So one of the things that I just would emphasize, and Nancy's talked about this as well, going back, just reemphasizing, is that we can make presentations longer than 6 minutes if we put all these other things else in there. So when Nancy says 6 minutes, it's just the straight talking. So if I'm going to lecture, don't lecture for 30 minutes unless you're going to be able to do some things in between. Oftentimes when I've been recording presentations to put online, since we can't go out face to face, I'll pose a question and tell participants, turn off, pause me for a minute and think about some of these ideas on your own, even if we aren't in there as a group. But it just, oftentimes giving those pauses where they can think, even if they're by themselves, about the information you've been sharing will help with that, long-term information processing that Nancy was talking about. So that 6 minutes is, if that's the only thing you're going to do is just talk, that's really the max it should be. If you do have a presentation that you really do need, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, that's fine, as long as you are putting some of this other stuff in there to break it up, where it's just not, again, the talking head for 45 minutes.
Excellent. Thank you, Stephen. Okay, so back to usage ideas, and again, thinking about what we said in the beginning, that we want to inspire and engage, and we have different audiences. It's not just going to be your students. Consider classroom announcements. If you're starting off virtually, consider touring your classroom, the school, and I know time is valuable. So these are just some ideas, and take them or leave them based upon your need and your time. Welcoming students, obviously, considering a pep talk. If you feel like they're needing it, inserting that into your online classroom if it feels like they're needing something extra. Again, as an instructor, you're that expert in the classroom, always trying to understand where your students are at. And so just using some of the feedback that you're receiving from them and some of the cues. Considering classroom recaps. I don't have to read all of those to you. Tweet up is really kind of like a shout out to different students. And actually that one, and I'll send you there's a template for it. I forgot to put it in here, but I'll do that. That one is actually an idea of how you have students saying something positive or complimenting other students. And it doesn't have to be on Twitter. It's an actual, document or something that they share. So it could be in anywhere, depending whether or not you're live with them, face-to-face, online, whatever it might be. But it's really about having ideas for students to communicate with each other. We've talked about the lab, shop, demonstrations, anticipation videos. That was a little bit about what our the objective video was that I did for you, kind of hopefully getting you a little anticipation about what we were going to do today. Stations. And you can use a video for a set of instructions at one station while you are working with students at another station. You know, they just have a video that they can pull up, whether it be on their phone or an iPad or a laptop that's available. You can give students feedback via video, only if they want it, because if they don't want it, it's meaningless. Think aloud or talk aloud. Again, when you're doing a demonstration, letting students know how you are coming to a conclusion and the steps that you are using. So if you are doing that tire demonstration like we've talked about, you know, talking through the steps so that they can actually begin to think that way themselves. Having them do that, a video for a skills check. You could actually do some guided reading. And lastly, a flipped classroom idea where you have, whether even if you're in the classroom on a video, you could actually have the instructional piece. Once they have completed an instructional piece and possibly a formative assessment where you're not there, then you can work with them in the lab. And that might be something that you all do often. Who knows? But anyway, those are just things for you to think about. Remembering the videos, we want them to be based on some type of a motivational piece or connecting, communicating with students. They can be general instructional support or based upon a need. Okay, so lots of reasons to have our videos. All right.
Nancy, if
Yes.
I can just say, just to support what she said, remember, you know, throughout this series, we've been talking about this concept called social presence. Again, the idea of social presence is the extent to which, when we're in environments like this, to what degree do we feel connected to each other, that the people we're in an online environment actually seem real to us, seem like real human beings. So, you know, when you're working through the video technology or any technology, you know, one question I would constantly ask myself and encourage you to do the same is, how is this creating some of that presence for the students? Am I coming across as real? You know, the truth of the matter is, not everyone does the best on recordings the first time. And it may take some practice to get to the point where you're comfortable, where you're able to share your ideas freely, where you aren't nervous. If that's the case, practice, because remember, our goal in the videos is to be human, to come across as human to our students, to come across as real people, to come across as caring teachers, come across as teachers who are excited about what we're teaching, come across as teachers who want to help our kids learn, our students learn. So, you know, when you think through these technologies, always ask how, you know, not just about, am I doing X, Y, and Z in the right order, but how am I displaying social presence and encouraging that through this particular technology or video that I'm using.
Beautiful. Thank you, Stephen. All right. And just remember, so now I'm rethinking this. Content is king, but the personal piece matters too. So yeah, maybe it's, yeah, so let's rethink that. Anyway,
No,
all right.
no, Nancy, I would say it's both, because I mean, you want, you know, we as teachers want to make that content real for our students. So I think it's absolutely both. I mean, it really is content first.
Yeah.
I would say that, but it's, you know, we got to have some energy and excitement when we present that content.
No.
So I think they go hand in hand. So I think it's perfectly
Beautiful.
appropriate slide.
Thanks, Stephen. All right, so let's move forward. All right, I'm going to give you 4 basic steps in terms of developing, creating the videos. Planning and organization is huge. It's the very first step. Really thinking it through from the global perspective down to the smaller perspective. And I say that because you need it to be organized for yourself, but you also need it to be organized for your audience. Again, thinking about students, and I'm going to include family members, parents in there, because you may be having some videos for them. So they need to be able to understand that organizational piece. So it's not just for you, but it's for the people that are watching the videos as well. And so just truly, again, you know, thinking this is part of a unit, you know, part of this larger curriculum, and I have different units, and then I have a lesson that I want to do, and thinking about how you're going to name those lessons. You know, I know some people use numbers, and that might be okay too, but just thinking through your audience, and always do this first, okay? The second step, which really is a piece of the organizational, but it's deeper, and that is storyboarding. And this is something that you can do on an official template if you want to, which I'm going to share with you. And I would suggest it initially. And what a storyboard is just talking through or writing down, you know, exactly what you're going to do and say. And I say that because, as Stephen said, you know, they're not always great at first, and you get better at it. But the same thing is true with an individual clip. You do not want to record it more than 3 times, okay? And I'm just going to say make 3 times be your max. And if you get more than that, consider going back to a storyboard. So again, it's thinking through all these things. What am I going to call it? Goes back to your organizational piece. What are my real objectives for this particular video clip? What's my purpose? And then what's the shot going to look like? What are you going to have a picture of? And what am I going to say? And you can just put talking points. So really, and remembering, again, depending on the actual clip, you may need more than these. You may need just a couple of these, okay? And I'll share this slide with you via a Google slide. At the end of the training, you'll be able to access this. But you could also use the QR code to access it. All right, questions? Let me know. All right. Step 3 is actually taking the video. Okay, you can choose a phone, you can choose whatever type of device you want. If you're on the laptop, you can actually use the built-in webcam on Windows or Mac. You can use a Zoom recording, but these go back to a video like this, okay? You could even use Screencastify using the webcam only. So there's lots of different ways, and these are not the only ones. But the third step is actually taking the video and either downloading it to your device or posting it in Google, or if you have Office 365, posting it where you can, okay? The last step is then to upload and add it to a playlist in YouTube. From there, once it's in YouTube and in a playlist, you can copy that link and paste it into your LMS, okay? And so why YouTube? YouTube is accessible even on your phones. Students that don't have internet access or even a laptop that they can use at home, a lot of times, now not always, but a lot of times they can get internet or view YouTube videos on their cell phones. So, you know, you just, again, think about whether you know, you want it to be open to the public too, but we'll talk about that as we go on. So those are the 4 basic steps. Any questions or thoughts?
Nancy, I'll just add quickly that I think being able to access it on the phone is awesome, because that's what students are using all the time. They always have their phone with them. They can watch it anytime, anywhere, any place. So I really think anything that's easy to access, such as YouTube, on your phone, on a device they already have. They don't have to pull out their computer to do it. They already have their headsets. They can, you know, use that easily, and they're more likely to use it because it's something they have with them all the time and are on all the time. So
awesome. Thank you, Stephen. And so the things that we're doing today, I have posted on our professional development YouTube, but I'll come back to this and show you where it's at in a little bit. I'm gonna move past this one, but I'll come back to it, okay? I wanna go through just quickly those 4 steps, okay? So, and I'm doing it for the one that I did with the objectives video. You know, I have these educator trainings that I do, and I file my documents in a folder that's called educator trainings, and then I do it by title. This one was called Launch a Different Way of Learning, and then I had another folder for today's session, create videos to support instruction. And I wanted this video that was just to, you know, like I said, inspire a little bit, was just going to be our objective for the day. And so when I file it, that's where it's going to go. But I have that in my mind where it belongs. Okay. So then I wanted to storyboard it. Oh, I forgot to show you guys the end of it. Then I was going to storyboard it and just gonna think about what it was about, objective, and a catchphrase. And I may have to go back and show you my catchphrase because I totally forgot that it was on there. So I just thought, well, it's just gonna be me, you know, just at home. If I were in a classroom, it'd be at the classroom. And I just, you know, my talking points were to say hello, it's good to see you. It's important to remember to smile and look at the camera. I probably don't do that as often as I want to, but you remember that I used to do both synchronous and asynchronous instruction, and it was via satellite. And so it was live TV basically. And so I had to put this sign that said smile right by the camera because I could not remember to do it, but I put it right there. And so now it's probably a little more automatic for me than it might be for other people, and looking at the camera as well. But with Zoom, we can't always do it. Anyway, but I put that note on there because I wanted you guys to see that. I think it's really important. I'm just keeping that same background. I wanted to share the objective for the day, and I wrote what that was so that I could easily remember it. And as I recorded, you know, I had it right there where I could see that. And then my catchphrase, together is better. Do you guys mind if I take a minute and go back and show you the rest of that video so you can see the catchphrase? All right, we're on slide 25 because there's a piece in here that I really wanted to show you. So
Hi everyone, our objective for today is to create and use short video clips with technologies that are readily available. Don't forget, hashtag together is better. Bye.
All right. So anyway, everybody that I work with, they know that's my favorite saying. And I just think it goes back to what Stephen said. It's about being you and being real. And so when I say a catchphrase here, I think it's good if you have something that makes you you, and that you share it with your students whenever you would normally in the classroom. Okay, so I did my storyboard. I took the video, okay, and I downloaded it. And then I'm going to show you one more piece. So this is an extra piece. I created a slide that says creating videos to support instruction. And I put what it was all about. So what I'm going to do now is make a thumbnail to put in YouTube with this slide. And I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm just going to save this slide, File, Save As. I'm going to put it in the same place that I have my other videos. And I'm just going to say objective thumbnail. Again, thinking of the organizational piece, okay? But I'm going to save it as a picture, and I'm using the PNG format. I don't have enough knowledge to tell you why I use that format, but I do. And I'm just going to hit save. And it's going to ask me, do I want all the slides? No, I want just this one. And so again, it's just an image that I'm going to use to support the upload into YouTube. So I have organized, I have storyboarded, I've taken the video. Now I made an image to go with the video. And so now I need to upload and add it to the playlist, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing this screen. Does anyone have questions while I go to the next screen? Okay. And we are going to get to the YouTube piece. Okay. So I'm logged in. When you got, yesterday I sent you guys an email asking you to create a Gmail account and a YouTube along with it. So I'm logged in as our professional development Gmail account, and I'm going to YouTube. And so this is our YouTube channel. So there's a couple of things that you can do here. I'm going to go to, I actually want to go to the studio. Sorry. All right, so I'm going to go to the library. No, I'm going to go to my videos, your videos. Sorry, you guys. But there's so many ways that you can do it. So these are the videos that we have here. And I want to upload this video that I created. So again, there's lots of ways that you can do this. So I'm just going to click this create a video or post. And I upload my video. Oh, there's the YouTube Studio, actually. Oh, it took me automatically to YouTube Studio. That's kind of a dashboard. It's where you do everything that you're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to select that file. And remember that we're going to have a recording of this. So if you need me to slow down, let me know. But remember as well that this is going to be on our YouTube channel. Okay, so I selected the video, and I'm going to go through this process that they asked me to go through. So it's pretty intuitive. So I'm going to, again, think about that organizational piece that I used. And so this is my creating video session, and it's the objective. Okay. I'm not going to put a description, but you can. The next piece is to upload a thumbnail. And I suggested creating that video image, the thumbnail image, which I'm navigating to. I know other people do click and drag. I don't really do click and drag. And I'm just selecting that thumbnail because that's what they'll see whenever they start perusing my playlist. Now I'm going to select a playlist, and we'll talk about what these playlists are here in just a little bit. And I'm putting it in the Create Instructional Videos playlist that I've already created. And if you want to create a new playlist, here's where you do it. I'm actually going to show you because that's what you could do. So if I wanted to do another playlist, this time I'm just going to call it testing or practice. Let's call it practice. It will ask you, do you want this to be visible to the public? And, you know, depending on your need. But for us, we are going to do unlisted. That way it is totally unlisted. All we have to do is copy and paste a link. So there it is. I have a new playlist. I don't have a video in it yet. I still want the one that I'm uploading into the instructional videos playlist. So I'm just going to click done. And there's a couple of times throughout this, it's going to ask you about your audience. Now, if you click yes, it's made for kids, you know, they're going to put some restrictions on you. So think about your audience and whether or not you need it to be restricted. Make the best choice for your need. If necessary, talk to your IT director, okay? We're going to click more options. And I say that because, you know, we live and learn. And the very first time that I put a video on here, I did not click other options. And so I noticed, and it took me a while to figure out, that people were making comments on there. So anyway, I'm going to get there. So I think it's always good to have closed captioning. So select a language, and I'm going with English United States. And I don't, you know, you can actually add more information. I'm not going to do that, but you can allow embedding. That will allow other people to embed the video in their slides. I'm okay with that. If you have parents or people that are following or subscribed to your playlist, you know, they may want to know. So that's giving them the notice that you have posted a new video. And then here's the last thing that I really want to make sure that you consider, and that's the comments piece. You know, I don't need people to make comments on my videos, and so I'm going to disable those comments and just, you know, it has a purpose. And then click next. Let's see, I see a question. Yes, can you upload from Google? Absolutely, and it's very easy. So Crystal, I can show you that in a minute. Okay, so we're going to hit next. You could add a screen at the end if you want to. I'm not doing that. I don't feel that I need to do that right now. You can also add a card. And adding cards is that little information piece in the top right corner that you always see people that are advertising. You know, so it's usually a link. So it's a link to something else. So I don't need to do that, and you guys could do more research on that if you want to. And so now I'm going to the visibility of the video itself. And again, I'm going with unlisted because I have for this one, I'm just going to give people the link, but you choose. And this one's kind of nice. You can schedule to have it made public. You can schedule your videos if you want to. And again, you know, think about who's in that video, if students are in it or not. So, and then click save. Now it starts processing, but here, right here is a link to copy that video link that you can put in your LMS and use for whatever you need it to be used for, to share with the kids, you know, at the right time. If you forget to copy it or don't copy it at that time, then you can always go back and copy the link just by going to that page and copying the link like you do normally, copy and paste it at the front, okay? So to answer Crystal's question, can you upload from Google Drive? Absolutely. It's actually pretty easy to do that. So you can click and drag even. I think there's an extra button there that's probably more seamless. I haven't done that yet. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so again, I still have a few more things I want to show you in this and the playlist, okay, because so let's look at these playlists. So I have 3. Here's the one that we just created, although it put that in there, I guess. Let's see if it did put it in there. Yeah, it did put that video in there. I may have to go back and move it, but it still needs to process a little bit. So I'm just going to go back to this create instructional videos playlist because I made this for you guys. And I have one video here that's how to use the built-in webcam on a PC, one on how to use the Windows 10 Photos app to trim video clips. So you can see these other videos that I've added to the playlist. I've added upload and add to a playlist, creating the videos objective. That's the one that I just created, so it's in here. Now I can move these. Okay, so I can organize these just by clicking and dragging. Okay, and I want you to see that you know, what I did with these is I just Googled a video. Let me go to this channel, and I'm just going to say how to upload Google video to YouTube. Okay. And I'm going to try to find a video on it. And I'm going to look for a short one. Now, generally, I would review these first, okay? But let's just say this one is from Google, so I'm going to go to this one. And they have a video here, so I'm going to view this in YouTube. And look right here where it says save. I'm going to save this to my Create Instructional Videos playlist. Okay. And when I go back to my YouTube, and go to my Create Instructionals Videos playlist. It should be here. There we go. How to upload videos with YouTube. And if I want to change the location so Crystal can find it, you know, I'll just put it up at the top. Okay. Questions? Okay. There are some other things, and I'm looking at our time. Let me show you a couple of other things, and it is an editor. So I'm going to go back to, for some reason when I'm on this home screen, I can't find that studio.youtube.com. Sorry, guys. It's just when there's too many ways to do things. Okay, so this is my dashboard. This is my professional development YouTube channel. And I can see all the videos that I've uploaded, or I can go to a specific playlist. Now, remember, and I don't know that I've said it already, but my suggestion is that you have a playlist for each unit of instruction. Again, it's that organizational piece. You know, how will my viewers be able to find this? How will I be able to find it if I go back later? Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to return to the YouTube studio, but I'm going to go to one of my videos here, and I'm going to choose any of them. I recorded some lab videos for you all just so that you could see them, and I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to go to the editor, and I know this is a lot, but I'm just going to show you this, so sing with me just a little bit more. I'm going to go to the editor because I just want you to be aware of these. I'm not going to show you all of this piece, but you can trim your videos in the YouTube studio. So it's simply, if you start recording too early, this is where you can trim it. Okay, so it's very simple to just click and drag that. You can add music. Remember, going back to making it exciting, you can add music to this. You can add different elements, and these are different pieces within YouTube. But notice this one. This is kind of the other one that I really wanted to show you down here. You can add a blur. And it's basically, there's a couple of blurs that you can add. You can blur students' faces. You can blur students' faces, or you can do some custom blurring. And I just think that's important for you all to know. So I'm not going to go over all of that for you, because I think that what you can do is you can go to the YouTube Creator Academy and figure out how to do those pieces, or if we need another training on those at the end, let me know. Okay, questions. This isn't like my normal self. I'm talking way too much. All right. All right, but it's time for a change. All right. Couple of things to say before I give you a task. We've already said this. I really want you to limit your takes to 3. Think about inviting guests to your videos. And notice I said real or otherwise. Some people love action heroes, or you know, anime, or you know, whatever. Kids love that. That's, again, being real and being you. So that's not me, so I didn't add that piece. But if that's you, do it. People love it. And I've already talked about looking at the camera, thinking about sounds and lighting. Remember, the light needs to come towards you, but just practice and play a little bit. And then the last thing on this piece is think about recording everywhere. Your students want to know who you are. And so, you know, just think about that. And it's different for everyone. So back to our 4 steps. Organizing, storyboard, record, get a thumbnail if you want a thumbnail. You don't have to have a thumbnail image. And of course, then posting it in YouTube on a playlist. Now, you do know that our objective was to create a video. I need to see a thumbs up if you guys are ready to create a video. So let me pull up my screen here. You can either do it in the chat or with a reaction. Let me see a thumbs up. Who's ready to create? Thumbs down, Nathan. Okay, good. Thank you, Crystal. All right. Well, okay. So here's a question I have for you. You can put the answer in the chat. Do you want to work with a partner? We have 2, 4, 5 people. So since we don't have too many people, we could just do it here, but do you want to go into a breakout room and work with one person? This is your task. Put it in the chat or unmute your mic, because it's either by yourself or with another person. Breakout room won't work. No worries. By yourself. Okay, then there we go. Okay, so I am going to give you a task, and Stephen and I are going to wait here patiently. Okay. But we're here to respond to your questions. So I'm going to give you about, since it's 10, I'm going to give you about 10 minutes and just check up on you in about 10 minutes. But remember, think about what you want to do. I want this task to actually be something that you do or draw. If you want to just do a catchphrase like you did, like I did with the objective, you can. But think about it, and then I'm going to have you share it in a Padlet. Since there's not very many of us, you could actually share it in the chat, either way. So, questions? Okay, it's about 10 o'clock, so I'm going to put up an alarm for about 10:10 and come back and check in and let us know where you're at. Okay, so I want you to storyboard a video, take the video, and I want you to upload it into YouTube. And if you have questions, I'm here. Stephen, you have to do it too. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Is there a new chat? Okay. All right. Any questions? All right. I'm giving you 10 minutes. I'm going to put the timer up, but please let me know if you have questions so I can support you in this. Because if I don't have you do it right now, you might not ever do it. All right. I'm putting the timer up. And no worries, if you have meetings and you can't do that, it's okay. How about if I have, you're gonna have 10 minutes. I already gave you 10 minutes. About 2 or 3 more minutes. Okay, the timer didn't go off. I thought it would go off. Okay, would you guys give me a thumbs up when you're back? We would love to see your video link. And I know I only gave you 10 minutes. So actually come back and report back to us. It's 10:09, so as soon as you can hear my voice and start coming back. And thank you all for staying on, even if you had a thumbs down. Better get that thumbs down off of there, Nathan. I did it.
That's just Nathan being difficult.
He's probably like, I have other work to do, Nancy. Okay, so who did so talk to us and tell, good, you're still trying to learn how to move from Drive to YouTube. Oh, you can figure it out, Crystal? Okay. Okay. I'm going to go look at that too. So I'll just take let me just share that screen. And I probably should have answered your question before. Okay, so let's see. So I have let's see if I have I just don't think I have any movies in here. That's why I don't have a movie in here. That's why I can't do it.
Nancy, I've got some in mine. I don't know if...
Do you want to share your screen? Let me see.
Yeah, let me...
Thank you. And while you're doing that, oh, I forgot to make you the host. Let's see what Nathan put his up. Oh, it's processing, Nate. Okay. Nate put his link in there. But it's still processing. It does take a while. Sonora has one. Okay. Hang on. Let's see what Sonora is. Not sure how to post it. It's saved and I have the link. Okay, Sonora. I'm going to look at that too. And so while Stephen is getting his pulled up, So it says video unavailable. The video is private.
Are you seeing my screen, Nancy?
I am seeing your screen. And while
Okay.
you're working on that, so go to your Google Drive. Oh, okay. So Stephen, actually, Stephen, those are, go to, they're already in your drive. So go back to your first tab where you were just on Google. Yeah. See the little waffle by your S, the S, click that and go to Drive. Little triangle right to the left. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And you have a video.
So this is where they were to start with, right?
Yes. And so why don't you right click on one of those videos? Right click, or I don't know how to do that on a Mac.
I don't have my mouse. Let me, if you can talk, let me go get my mouse.
Yes, I want to talk through Sonoras. So,
Okay, and I'll get my mouse because then it works like a right click.
Okay.
Just a second.
And so
You want me to stop sharing?
Yeah, stop sharing for a minute while you do that. So Sonora, yours is private. And so let me share my screen. I'm so excited that you guys have videos for us to watch. Okay. And hang on one second. Let's see, what are you seeing? Okay. So, okay, so Sonora, let's just say, so Sonora, go to your video. And just because you're sharing it with us, click on your video. And instead of having it private, it should be unlisted. Private, you have to invite people to look at it. And I'm sorry that I haven't done that. Okay, questions? So that might help with Sonoras. Roger, but didn't get a YouTube channel, so good, Roger. And let me check on Nathan's. Nathan's is working. I'm not
delivering lessons and
you guys can all pull it up. I love that. Thank you all for sharing. Let me check Sonora's again. It didn't have to, I'm glad it's short. So Sonora's, maybe we can work on yours, you know, when you're done, if we can't get it to unlisted. And then Stephen, are you back then with your?
I am, but I can't get my mouse to read my computer.
Well, Crystal said she could figure it out. So
okay.
Crystal, we can walk you through that another time. I don't want to pull off, I don't want to take everyone else's time for this. Okay. And Sonora said she changed hers to public. So let's try Sonora's and see. I'm trying it on my other computer. Might take a minute. Make sure you hit save. Make sure you hit save, Sonora. It still didn't work for me. All right, so I am going to go back, and I just want to say that I really do appreciate you all sharing your videos with us, actually making the videos and sharing them with us. That's awesome. I hope it made a difference for you. This is the professional development channel where the videos, our videos are going to be hosted. But of course, we'll send you these slides if you want them. A couple of other things to share before we end our day. Adding visual cues. And, you know, I did that in our objectives video. I added that paper that had my hashtag on it. I think it's important as we move forward, as we get used to developing videos, especially during the lab setting and shop settings. I think it's important for us to annotate and do some type of shout outs or call outs, I'm so sorry. Because as we saw, the research said that visual and text cues make a difference in the learning and understanding. So we're not going to show you how to do that today, but just think about it. And I may have another training on that if that's something that you're interested in. Use or paste segments, present text and images simultaneously, and just talking. And I didn't really mention this rule of thirds. I'm not an expert on this by any means, but I had heard of it and wasn't really doing anything with this. It basically means that the point of interest in a video should be either at the 1/3 or the 2/3 line, and I'm not sure how if they go up or down on that, but I know that if you just have, like us, our eyes should be about this mark. And so when I did a couple of videos and I saw the difference, I was pretty surprised. So just something to think about as you move forward. It does make a difference in terms of just presentation. And then lastly, adding music, we kind of talked about that. So tripod, I think those that are going to have big shop equipment should seriously consider a tripod for, that would maybe stand up and be tall, that would meet their needs. So we didn't really talk about that, how to do that. It's really about using what you have available. It is, there's one guy that does videos for his students, and he's on YouTube. He puts for his daily announcements, he puts his phone in door handles. It just holds there. He doesn't even use a tripod. And so I just think the more you need to do online for the instructional pieces with your equipment, I think consider a tripod and possibly microphones. There's two different types, the lavalier for your lapel, or a condenser if you're going to be, out far away from it, and then possibly a clicker to start the video if you're away from it. But if you're just using your cell phone, some of them have timers and things as such. And so I see Roger got his up, so I can't wait to view those. And does anyone have any questions or thoughts? Stephen, anything you want to add? Okay.
No, not right now.
Okay. Well, that's really all that I have for the video pieces. Is really about just being you. So if there's other pieces that you want us to develop and create, we would appreciate it. Reflect in the chat. Something good that you're taking away from today's training?
Maybe one thing, Nancy, I just thought about, and it goes back to, not recording something 3 times, but, with the technology, and you saw just even a little bit of it in, I guess, the YouTube editor, and I know other programs have the same thing. If you mess up on a section, just, count down, say, re-recording objective 2 in 3, 2, 1, and just re-record that, because the messed up part can be taken out now with the technology. You don't have to start from the very beginning. Now, I've oftentimes started from the very beginning, just because if I mess up in the beginning, it throws me off all throughout, and I can never get back on track. But if something happens in the middle and I've said it wrong, or I've stumbled on it, or I left something out, I usually will catch myself and I'll just say re-recording bullet point 2 on slide, whatever the number is, in 3, 2, 1, re-record that section and just keep going. And that can be taken out. So don't worry too about being perfect. And even a few mistakes can be in there. I mean, if you look at the stuff I've put up on the YouTube channel, or Nancy's put it up for me, but I've recorded it, there are things that, I've stumbled on, or I've kind of lost my train of thought for a second, but those aren't enough to start it all over. I mean, I consider those things what would happen if I were in a face-to-face classroom. Now, big, huge things, yeah, we probably do want to redo those segments, but don't worry about little flubs here and there. And even the larger ones can be edited out.
And Stephen, I appreciate you saying that, but I do want to say a couple of things too, though. That YouTube Studio does not allow you to edit like Stephen's talking about. And the free version of Screencastify doesn't either. So I'm so glad you brought this up. The Windows app, remember how I went through all those ways that you can trim the videos and do the videos? The PC Windows photo app does not allow editing either. They just allow trimming. And so I'm not sure about QuickTime. Has anyone on their Mac used QuickTime to edit?
I remember older versions of QuickTime would let you do that.
Okay.
I've not used QuickTime in forever.
Okay. So what Stephen's talking about is the paid version of Screencastify does let you do it, and it's fairly simple, right, Stephen? Yeah. And so, but again, talk to your place of employment, your school district. Maybe they will purchase that for you if you need it, or another software. So, okay, well, we so appreciate you guys being here, and I know there's just a few of you on the line, but I do have an evaluation. If you guys wouldn't mind completing it, I'm gonna, and this is for the series. Let me just put it in the chat.
And while Nancy's doing that, again, I just say practice, 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 practice with all of this. Moving online is challenging, but it's not impossible, and it's nothing that can't be learned, and it's nothing that you can't do well, and it's nothing that, your students won't enjoy. But it does, again, require practice. And, you saw another example today in the storyboard. A lot of delivering good online instruction